All right, let's go again. Oh, is that Hebrew? So then if it's Hebrew, be and th is so it's Beth.
Beth.
Beth, good.
Male.
Gimel, good. Daleth.
The left.
Daleth, good. That's D. That's enough. Hey, so you went to E. Good. That's E in Hebrew. Now remember, if you learn the alphabet and the vowels of any language, you'll be able to speak the language. All right? In just a second, we're going to start practicing with Yoruba and Shri and a number of other languages. All right? And I like what you're doing with French, because if you can get the French, the basic French, then you're going to probably be able to speak roughly about 16 African tongues in a very short time. All right? We got it? Magnifique. All right, where are we now?
This sister over here, I took French in high school. It ain't never taught me.
Well, my wife that you're speaking about, she learned French in all the best schools in America. But like so many of us, they never bothered to teach us the vowels in those languages that they were teaching us. So that means they didn't want us to learn. And that's why they're teaching us something about long and short vowels in the schools, when actually there's no such thing. They're teaching a lot of things that just don't exist. They're just made up nonsense. But if we can get our children a good foundation, matter of fact, I'm glad I said that. Somebody back there, stand on your square. Who can stand on this? You can stand on your square. Let me see you and tell me what you're doing. Oh, you can too. You can. No problem. I'm with you. Tell everyone what you're doing.
We're standing perpendicular to the horizontal.
Try it again. I like that, but I heard some kind of confusion. I think I heard you right, but do it again.
We're standing perpendicular to the horizontal.
Good. Now, does everyone understand what they're saying, what they're talking about? Darling, what's your name again? Yolanda. Do you understand what they're talking about?
They're standing perpendicular to their horizontal.
To the horizontal.
When they're standing with their feet together and their hands.
Well, kind of. Where are your feet? What angle are your feet?
They're
90. Well, let's call them 45 degrees. And 45 and 45 make up 90, but we'll call this a 45. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, can you explain standing perpendicular to the horizontal? Either one of them.
How low?
No, can you explain just what it is? To everyone. If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But
I'm thinking about the angle the body is coming down to the
good,
point.
but you know the body, yes, but the body is vertical. The body is vertical.
Right.
So that means that if it's vertical, they stand. They stand vertical to the horizontal. Good. And the horizontal is the plane that they're standing on, which is the floor. It is the surface that they are standing upon. They have to develop a foundational number, arithmetic in their brains. And that will allow them to build things. In other words, they walk into this room and immediately they should understand how this came about. In other words, in order for this to come about, there had to be a foundation, right? How did they get the foundation?
Standing perpendicular to the
No, they didn't stand perpendicular to the horizontal. What they did, in order to get the foundation on this premise, is they had to take a point and try to find the center. And in order to do that, you've got to arithmetically, which is going to lead to mathematics, arithmetically go step by step from your stake, from your point, which is going to be a center. Now you've got to come down with your, don't you have a string or something? Don't you have a string or something?
For the
Yep.
radius.
And then now you've got to get to a point, and then you turn, and you go in another direction, and eventually go in 4 directions in order to create a what? A square. And now, when we're actually square with each other, then I can see truth. And now we're on the truth. And understand, that's a lie.
There you go.
That's a lie. Now, if I can actually stand it on the vertical, I think when you were going to school, they told you that veritas is truth, right? Isn't that what's on your ring, Carolyn? Veritas? It says veritas, doesn't it? You know, see, all the graduates, what? She don't want me to say it to y'all.
I don't know where it is.
All the graduates of Harvard have to have that ring that says veritas because they were there to learn truth. And that's really important, is that we actually learn in such a way that we can true the information, the data. I want them also to learn about, you know, they had to walk that line when they were letting it out from that stake that they had placed in order to arithmetically figure how they're going to go this far. And now they got to go that same distance this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then eventually you got to all connect to form this room.
That forms a circle though.
I don't want to form a circle, but guess what?
Square.
A circle and a square
That's
are
right.
the same thing. See, 360 degrees is your circle.
Yes, but the distance from the center is not the same at every point on a square, but it is on a circle. That's why that forms a circle.
Okay. You got your pen? Show us on the board. Move back, James. Let me see.
You're
No
saying
problem. This is 360 degrees up top.
this is 300. They're both
That,
360.
that's right, they're both 360.
Mhm.
So now once you unite the opposites, guess what you've just done? You come to realize that the circle and the square are the same thing. And even when you look at the planet, and let's go even a little further, let me show you. Here. Let me show you. When you look at the planet, and this is the planet, and this is the planet with the sun in the center. One of you kids, show her the symbol of the sun.
That's it there.
I know that's it there, but they need to show her in the white man's book.
Oh, shit. Okay.
What?
No,
Is that why they used to say the world was flat?
Who? Who did? Who was they?
The scientists, scholars.
Which scientists? Which scholars? Because you had a lot of scientists and scholars at that time.
I can't think of
And
his
at
name.
that time, there were a whole group of scientists and scholars who were actually wearing the fez. And it represented the planet, while they were wearing the boardwalk, which was square, which represented the planet as a square. Well, there were a group of people who had a fez, and they knew that it was round all the time. Now we've learned at this point it's a little more than round. It's kind of egg-shaped. So that's a little different than a circle.
I'm giving her the book.
Good.
Symbols of the zodiac.
And I need all the children to learn these symbols in the book.
I'm looking for just the symbol for the sun. It's in here somewhere.
If move back a little bit, I just want to show this James Union. Cairo, watch, all right? So if we come across here, what will we have? What would we have? On that map, what do we call that?
Equator.
The equator. And now, this is the thing that actually comes from, I think they said it was Horus, and Horus became horizon. And now if you come down from 12 to the 6, what do you have here? What do you have there? This vertical thing. No, this will be the Cancer and Capricorn in here. But this coming down,
Is that the prime meridian?
you can call it the meridian, but you have to be careful with that meridian. You have to be careful because they're going to use that to tell time, and that might come through Greenwich. So you have to be careful with that. But this polar line, it connects the poles. Understand something. By the time you get through with this, and you got this here, and you place these here, you have a square within the circle. And that's how they build this building. That's what the engineer is doing. That's what the architect is doing. This is exactly what's going on. Now, mathematically, you have to take this apart. And when you do, tell me the angles. At the top is what?
The top is
Say it.
90.
Zero. Oh,
Zero.
this is zero.
No, zero. No, I know what they taught in school, but let's go back before they started that. We're going to start up here to 12 with zero. I know how they've done this, and this is what you're talking about, what they're teaching in school now. We have to be real careful about that. Now, I do want them to learn what they're teaching now, which is what she was about to show us. But I also want them to learn what I learned in school. You start here at 12 for zero. Go 0 degrees to what? Which is, what direction is that? What direction is 0 degrees?
Think of the map.
East is going to be over here.
No.
West is going to be over here.
That's north.
North, good. 0 degrees north. So when you come down to what degrees east?
90.
Good, 90 degrees. And from 90 degrees east, we come where?
To the south.
What's the degree?
180.
180. And from 180, we come to the west?
360.
No,
270.
270.
270.
270. And from 270, we come back to
360.
360, which is a complete circle. Now, hold on. What's 1 times 9? What's 2 times 9?
18.
3 times 9?
27.
4 times 9?
36.
All
Now,
of them 9.
Place a 0 behind each one, and then what do you have? 90, 180, 270, 360. If they stop counting with zeros, then guess what? Now, in just a short time, like you saw them make that calculation they just made, what they're going to be able to do is when I walk in this room, I'm going to ask them, what is 5 times 9,436,333? I expect an answer in less than 30 seconds. No pencil, no paper, no calculator. And the reason is because they learned this in such a way that we don't get confused with a lot of the new stuff that they're starting to teach. We learned that too. Now what I need to know is what the professor is saying out of their mouths. And I need to be able to understand it because she is going to tell me what they want on the test. And I'm going to give it to them. Whatever they want on the test, I'm going to give it to them. Why am I going to give it to them? Tell me, Brother Withers, why? Because I'm going to produce Zacchaeus, and I'm going to produce Jessicas and Jordans and all the rest of these kids that have done what I asked them to do, and they now have their doctorates and PhDs and masters. And how old are they when they got them?
25, 26, 27.
Very young when they got masters and PhDs. Only because they learned the basics in a correct manner, not because we're learning. I think now all of a sudden they're teaching something about Zaire, you're going out the door, so just tell me before you go, what are they teaching now about this new planet stuff? You don't know? Kenny, did you know?
No, sir.
Well, we have to let you go, Zaire. You're going to get in a hurry. What are they teaching? Who?
Life on Mars.
No, I don't know about no life on Mars.
That's
other
it.
than-
What is it? One of them is not a planet
Oh,
anymore.
Pluto is no longer a planet.
Isn't that something?
Right. Yeah.
Isn't that something? Well, now guess what? We need to learn where Pluto is not a planet anymore, but we also need to learn Tell me about the planets. My what?
My very
Tell everybody. I want that one asleep. I want him to hear you too.
My very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas.
Name them.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Uranus, Neptune,
Good.
and Pluto.
Good. Now, at the same time, I understand that you're going to have a classroom where someone is saying Pluto is no longer a planet. So when you take the test, you can't put Pluto down there. But at the same time, I want to learn it both ways. You're going to have people telling your students in the schools right now that 0 is an integer. Is that right, Tamarcus?
That's right.
But now, I'm wanting my students to learn that 0 is not an integer. The reason I wanted to, who's ever looked up 0? Anybody ever you looked up? Tell us what 0 is.
0, it means, it came from the word, was it cipher?
Sophic.
So, yeah.
That's the Arabic.
And 0,
Cipher is the Latin. Cipher is the Latin. Go ahead.
and then 0 meant, well, from that word, it meant nothing.
Well, I don't think it means nothing, baby. How about this one? It means no thing.
That's
No thing is different from nothing. Now, at the same time, when nothing calls you on the phone, then that's nothing. But at the same time, see, 0 is the absence of quality and the absence of quantity. But now when you look up an integer, it says that it's a whole thing. So how can 0 be,
Numbers represent quantities.
and so 0 is what quantity?
It's a lack of quantity, but that doesn't mean it's not an integer.
Is that right? Why not? Did you look in the dictionary?
What an integer is?
Yes.
An integer are whole numbers and their opposites
Opposites, how you mean opposites? Of what?
of the whole number.
I don't get.
Meaning it's opposite direction from 0. So 1 and -1 are both integers.
A 0 wouldn't have one.
No, it wouldn't. But
The
it's
only-
still,
who was that?
it can still represent a quantity.
was that back there?
It represents the quantity of not having a quantity.
Right there on the floor.
laying down.
No, sitting down. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't make a square from
I thought that was Jessica. I'm sorry. No problem. I thought you was someone else. But now you saying what now? You can't make a square?
No, you were talking about integers.
I am suggesting that if you look up the word 0, what does it tell you?
Absence of
Of quality and quantity.
So we're talking numerically quantity.
Quantity. So if in fact 0 has no quantity, how can it be an integer?
Because it's representing the not the
All
not
it
having
represents
a
is a
quantity.
space.
It's describing a situation where there is no quantity, and 1 is describing a situation of a quantity of 1.
Did you
2 is
just say?
describing
Did you just say that 0 is describing no quantity?
a situation where there is no quantity?
That's what you just said.
Yes.
So guess what you just said?
That 0 is describing a situation where there's no quantity.
And that means that it is not an integer.
Placeholder.
It just holds a space. It just holds a space. That's it.
It
It
doesn't
really doesn't hold
space.
space, but it
It
holds
does
simply
space,
a
but
point.
because 10, 0 is in the number 10, and that's not just a
Let me see
placeholder.
this.
That's a
me see
quantity
this.
of 10.
This quantity of 10 is one integer. One integer. How many integers are there, children?
9,
How many?
9.
Those are 9 digits. There's an infinite amount of integers.
Where did you go to school?
In New York, we
What?
have 10 digits, 0 through 9.
No. Not 1 to 9 are your integers. Your digits or numbers can be a million, no problem. But your integers can, let me see this. Unless you come up with a new integer like that, you don't have anything. And 0 is nothing there.
You just said we only have 1 through 9 as integers.
That's it.
You just said 10 was an integer, though.
No, I didn't. I said 10 is a number made up of an integer here as 1. The 1 that you started out here now changes places and becomes 10. 10 is the completion of all there is. 9 is the absolute of all there is. And 10 becomes that starts all over again. But now, I think since you are proficient with numbers, you should maybe tell us what 1 means. And then try 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9.
Okay.
I like that. You're going to look it up. Good, good. But don't you ever dare count with zeros. Are you learning how not to count with zeros?
Yeah.
Do you trust this book? Are we trusting this book?
Let me tell you why I trust me.
Okay.
I don't trust any book.
Okay.
I know that there's a bunch of lexicographers who put the definitions together in that book.
Right.
Now, I know that their definitions do not apply to me.
Okay.
Because guess what I can do? I can think for myself, and I have taught myself how to do what the lexicographer does. And that's the only way we can do this. So no, I do not trust that book. But hold on, baby. I have had people accuse me of trusting the computer. Which part of the computer? I think they accuse me of trusting Wikipedia. But here's the thing, Demarcus, have I ever asked you to trust the computer?
No, sir.
Have I ever asked anyone to trust a computer or any book?
Nope.
You see, because I can only determine that they have to learn how to trust one thing. What's the one thing I'm asking you to trust?
Yourself.
What am I, huh?
Yourself.
Nothing else. Not Noah Webster. And here's what's weird. You sitting right there. You did know that Webster, Noah is his first name, right? You knew that, right?
No.
You didn't? Wait a minute. You know what year he was born, right?
No.
You know what year he expired, right?
No.
Wait a minute. So we don't know anything about Webster. Why would I trust him? Come on, I'm trying to ask that, but why would I trust him? Why would I trust him? But I bet you I can trust you. That little one back there smiling right now. I can trust you. You know, I have watched you since you've come in here. Now all of a sudden you paying attention. I think I can trust you. But you know what? I will not trust you if you do not learn how to go in this book and dissect this book. And in order to do that, I've asked everybody to learn what? What science have I asked you to learn in order to dissect this book? What's the science that I've asked you to learn? Arithmetic is not it is a science, but not the one that I've asked you to learn about dissecting the book that she asked me if I trust. Who said that?
They should have said it.
Who said that? My wife said that? My wife said that. What? You know that etymology, don't you? Yes, you do. How old are you? What?
5.
And you know about etymology. You're 5 years old. My good, where's Taylor?
She left.
She left. Wait a minute. Taylor knows about etymology now, don't she? How old is she?
She just turned 7.
7. Well, 6, 7. Now, does it sound like I trust that book? Or any other book? Or any computer program? Or anything that they're doing out here? Can anybody tell me why I don't trust anything?
You don't know about the person that made it.
Because Frederick Douglass told me not to. Can you tell me when Frederick Douglass told us all, trust no one? You can't tell me about Frederick Douglass when he told us to trust no one? Hmm?
How can you trust Frederick?
Well, here's the point about Frederick Douglass. And you're right. And you're right. But he said go in and study and learn this thing. And then when you put Douglass together with Dubois, and you put Dubois together with E. Franklin Frazier, and you put E. Franklin Frazier together with G.M. James, now you just might start figuring this out. But I haven't learned to trust anybody yet. And I really don't trust any book.
I only asked because I was looking it up, so if we don't trust it, then it don't make no sense.
Hold it. Now, you're not hearing what I'm saying. What you have to learn to do is to decode that book. You have to learn to decipher that book. That book and every other book you read. Now let's see, what books have I studied? I've studied the Bible. I've studied the Quran. I've studied the Bhagavad Gita, Septuagint, Pentateuch. And I don't have to trust any of them, but I have to know them. I don't believe any of them, but I have to know them. Because if I believe, then I don't know. But if I know, I don't have to believe. Good.
This book says that digits are the numerals from 0 to 9.
This book says that digits are, now does this book also, when you look up 0, what does it say?
It says what we've discussed already.
Now understand what you're going to find in this book. Let me tell you what it's going to say about religion. In the etymology about religion, it's going to say to bind back. But let me tell you what I bothered to find when I study etymology in a way so that they can't tell me how to do anything. I found re, which means to do again.
Mm-hmm.
And I found legion, which means a group of 6,000 men. That's what I found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now, they told me it means to bind back. You see, what I have to decide is, do I want to accept what someone else has created for me? Or do I want to figure this out for myself so that I become the creator of my own reality?
Remember, these are your digits.
Your fingers. Your fingers, right?
Right, and we only have 10 of them. 0, 1, 2.
You only have 5. You have 5 on this hand and 5 on the other. Now when you bring them together, now you can tell me all of the senses, right? Because they taught you in school you had how many senses?
5.
Yeah, but you have 5 on this hand and 5 on the other. Isn't that right?
I have 5 senses.
You have 5 senses. You have 5 fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, but you have 5 fingers on this hand and you have 5 on the other.
Yes.
So now you have 5 senses, but these are your what? Your physical senses. 5 physical senses. Now you've got 5 on the other hand, because now you should have mental senses. And they should match your physical.
What are the 5 mental?
Good. You got, what's this, eyesight?
Yeah.
So that would be vision, right?
Yeah.
So that's inner vision, right?
Okay.
So you had inner vision. You understand that?
Okay.
Now it says, I think it says that you have physical hearing.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible it says only those that will hear or can hear will hear. Doesn't it? And it's not talking about what's going to go through your hammer and the rest of this physical sense. It's talking about something else. When you go back and you study, you're my Egyptian. Tell her about the 5, about Ka and Ba. Tell me about that. What is it?
I don't know all of them. Ka,
You-
Ba, Ren.
Oh, you don't know all of them.
It's actually,
You know, it's amazing.
I
All
know
these
7.
Egyptians. Huh?
actually 7 though.
I was gonna make a joke. I was born with almost 12.
Almost 12. You're talking about fingers, right?
Yeah, and
Now,
then,
wait a minute. Now, hear what we're doing.
and then what my
We're using the fingers as a metaphor for your senses
right.
in order to get you to understand something. They taught us about half of your being when they taught us about 5 senses. You follow me? Just the physical. There's another aspect of your being, but no one is actually getting into that other aspect. What is that? What is it?
Mental.
It's the mental, because wherever you have a physical, which is your lower self, you have a mental, which is your higher self. Well, now you have to use your higher sensibilities. Now, guess what you do? Let's check this. Don't take my word. Let's check. How many colors you got? 7, you said. Who said that?
I do.
Name the 7.
It's red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet.
Well, how do you only get those as 7 colors? Because they're teaching you that you're black, and you calling white folks white. I don't understand. Well, if white and black are not colors, she said, matter of fact, you know what? I will bet you gray is not a color either. I bet you damn to a dollar. So how y'all running around talking about black and white and all the rest of that nonsense?
Are
Gets
those
strange.
hues?
Are they what?
Hues.
Are they hues? You mean like in human? You mean like in human? I bet you if you look up human, you're going to find hues.
Probably. I mean, it looks like it has the same prefix.
Well, I would bet you. Are you getting the information off the telephone?
You told me that they told me to use the etymology dictionary.
Well, here's what I'm telling you. You're using the telephone, right? I'm telling you this. You asking me, do I trust the Webster's Dictionary? Now ask me, somebody, do I trust the telephone? Ask me that one. I don't trust the telephone, the computer, and none of the teachers. None of the teachers. Because I bet you down to a dollar they don't know. And if you believe somebody is teaching you in a correct way, you're not going that extra mile to learn how to teach yourself, then you're only going to see what the tour guide in the museum wants you to see. You'll never really see what's really there. The only thing that I'm asking everybody to do is to learn in a different way so that you can finally see for yourself. And whatever the lexicographer does in that dictionary, I bet you I can do it. And when I do it, I'm going to compare my definitions to theirs. Now, guess what happens when I come across something in there and it doesn't sound right? What was it that all the Negroes used to get mad at me about when I would argue with them about the definition of Ethiopia?
Burnt faces?
Yeah,
Burnt faces?
man with the burnt face. That's the definition that all the Negroes come up with everywhere you go. Marcus, have you ever seen them get mad at me when I start laughing at them?
Yes, sir.
Huh? They get so upset. But now what I've asked everyone to do is teach yourself how to use that dictionary. And if you do, what should you come up with as a definition for Ethiopia? What should you come up with? Tell me. Someone tell me.